Today I'm going to be making pastitsio, which is a Greek dish that is similar to lasagna, but the layers are able to be seen definitively. First off, we're going to start by washing my hands.
The worst part about this map is like how hard it is to maneuver. Hi.
And first we're going to cut up 3 cloves of garlic. It's not like a good. There we go.
How did I not know your name? I don't know. Natural front two. This has not been my first time.
This is going to be finely minced.
We know reverse car. Reverse car. This game is so not fair. No battle. Oh, poor baby. Some little guy got overfed. On the enemy team, somebody finally got overfed. Well, I went crazy with both.
Push this off to the side. And next we're going to finely dice start by peeling that.
Look out. I don't want to be here. I suddenly do not want to be here.
Aspen, get off the counter. Mom.
There's a scary man on the phone with me.
Can't. But she's like trilling. I'm gonna fast forward this part so I don't think you'll be able to hear me talking. Yeah, because you can mostly only see this, so you'll only see like a blip of you. Okay, so I'm going to be finely dicing this onion. can't see.
To a grenade, but I still got another kill. I'm at 11 kills. Guess who's second? Or third? Second. I'm second or third. Never mind. I am not second. I will be fourth. No, fifth. Yep. Let's go, baby. Who does both sides?
Alright. Next, I'm going to be getting a pot out. And putting both the onions and the garlic in the pot. And we're gonna wait for that to heat up. Okay, while that's cooking, I'm gonna get... Ma, do you know where the... Oh, there they are. I was gonna ask where the scissors went. Going to be adding ground beef to this mixture. Mom, how do you just normally flip it inside out? To get all the beef out. Well, I couldn't get all of it though. This seems like a lot of meat. Yeah. That's what it says. But it's mostly meat in the sauce. Like it basically just becomes like a meat sauce. So that's why. Oh, I got it out really easy that time. Put this down. I've added 2 pounds of raw beef to the pot. And I've started browning it. Almost all done browning that. Just a little bit more. My arm's getting tired. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to go to his thing because at the risk of it running longer than an hour. Sorry, Owen. But hey, food should probably be done when you get home. So hard to see with all the steam. All the hamburger has been browned. Next, I'm going to add 3/4 cup of wine and let that sit and cook off. It is very, very strong. So the wine that I added was a dry red wine, and it's just cooking in the beef right now. We're going to turn that down a little lower, and we're going to start assembling in a bowl the next ingredients to add to this. So we're going to need 2 tablespoons of olive oil. gonna need 2 beef bouillon cubes. Mom, is this the sugar or the one under the brown sugar?
I think it's the one under the brown.
Oh, it's heavy. Yes, it is.
I think we're out.
Gonna need 1 teaspoon of sugar, white sugar. Stir this a little more. Three-fourths teaspoon of salt. One teaspoon of pepper. Cinnamon out. And the ground cloves. Okay, so 1/4 teaspoon ground cloves. A teaspoon of cinnamon. And 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. Alright, we're gonna add that mixture into here. Put it all with a spoon. as well as we're going to add this 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. Whoops. Okay, we're gonna bring this to a simmer, which it is at. And then reduce to medium heat. Now we're going to cook this until it is thick and most of the liquid has gone. While we're waiting, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Greece. For example, Greece's biggest food imports are beef, cheese, and pork, but they also import a lot of things such as fruit, grains, vegetables, and dairy. They actually take in a lot of stuff because they have very small communities. They don't make a surplus of items, so they still need to get items imported to support the eating and lifestyles that they want. Their top food exports are probably things you could have guessed: olives, cheese, and olive oil. Common dishes in Greece: breakfast is usually small things such as yogurt and honey, kalori thessalonikis, which is a flatbread kind of shaped like a really thin bagel with sesame seeds, strapazzata, which is like omelets with tomato, and eliopsomo, which is bread dough with olive oil and olives in it. Lunch, things are going to be a lot more heavy, but also they could be a little bit more quick. For example, there's a term called mesi mariano, which means late lunch. It refers to when you have a full selection of food, including roasted meats, grilled fish, feta cheese, Greek salads. It's like a big feast. Another thing is moussaka, which is similar to lasagna, like this, except it's made of potatoes, eggplant, zucchini, and ground meat. Typically around holidays, a lot of times they also will just have it without the meat, just vegetables. Gyros, we know a very modern and Americanized version of that, but usually they have like fries in them on a pita bread with like Greek chicken and tzatziki sauce, tomato cucumber salad. Like, it's a very heavy sandwich, basically on the go. Dinner, still kind of more heavy: pastitsio, which is the layers of pasta, meat, and Greek bechamel sauce, which is like a mix between like cheesy kind of sauce. What we would put on top of a lasagna, but it's going to be like a thicker layer. Spanakopita, which is a pie-like dish made of spinach and feta cheese filling with a flaky phyllo dough, which is like, in my eyes, like a really light pastry dough. Like it's super flaky, super thin. Also grilled meat skewers served with pita bread and tzatziki sauce is pretty common. Snacks. Now, a lot of the snacks are sweet. Lokumades are literally fried dough enjoyed with honey and nuts on top. Bugatsa is similar to the spinach pastry, except it's like filled with custard and covered in powdered sugar and cinnamon. Tirapita is really similar, except it's folded into a triangle and it's filled with cheese and eggs. And then keftadakia are meatballs made from breadcrumbs, beef, pork, and eggs. So they're like a little snack on the go. Drinks, they drink a lot of coffee. So frappe is like a specific type where it's instant coffee shaken with ice and water and occasionally milk is added. Vizinata is a drink made from cherry syrup and then you add water to it to dilute it. That's like a summer drink. Sumata is a really heavy, thick, syrupy drink made from crushed almonds. It's like really sweet. And then Greek mountain tea, this herbal tea made from the citrus plant. Utensils and cookware. They use a lot of mortar and pestles. They also like olive oil cans, pastry brushes, obviously like sauce pots, pans, a lot of knives. There's like specific boning knives for cutting meat from sheep. A lot of graters. There's also things as spit roasters, honey dippers, skewers, wooden spoons, and there's these metal old style coffee pots that traditional Greek coffee is made, called a briki coffee pot. Traditional food customs. Food is a big part of the Greek culture. Fresh ingredients is super important. Like they aren't going to be pulling out the frozen ingredients and canned ingredients like we all are. They're going to be getting everything fresh. A lot of things are usually by eye or taste. So like I'm using exact measurements in this, but if someone were traditionally making this, they would season it to taste by what they just know as well. Breakfast is more of a snacky meal, just like on your way to work kind of thing. Lunch is more like in the later afternoon, like 1 to 2 p.m. And then dinner is as late as 11 p.m. You can even have like a snack around 4 or 5, but dinner is really, really late. Table manners. Everything is brought to the middle of the table and it's passed around. You do not reach. You have to pass, I think, to the left always. Your fork stays in your left hand. You don't lick your knife clean. When you're done, your fork and knife go on the plate crisscross. You don't just use like any utensil that you want. You have to use specific utensils. If you put your napkin on the table, that can also mean you're finished. You also don't eat before seasoning. If you were to just start adding salt, that's really insulting to the chef. So you would taste before seasoning. Religious food customs. So a lot of Greek people follow the Lenten holidays of the Greek Orthodox Church. So during holidays, they have no meat and no products from animals. So they have a lot of just more heavy in like the eggplant and potatoes, less dairy, less meats. Well, no meats, so. Some popular dishes are the moussaka, which was that eggplant dish, souvlaki, the skewers of meat, and spanakopita, which is that spinach pastry. A table setting is really similar to how we would do it. Fork on the left, knife on the right, because you actually eat with your fork in your left hand always, so it's going to be on that side. Top restaurants, were the Ambrosia Restaurant, Tudor Hall, Spondy, Letho's Restaurant, and Funky Gourmet. And that's just a little bit of information about Greece. Alright, so we have the meat sauce done. We're going to be working on the Greek bechamel sauce. So first, we're going to take 7 tablespoons, so 7/8 of a stick of butter, and heat it over medium heat. Get all the wrapping off the butter. Oh my gosh. Just double check. Luckily, my hands are nice and clean. Just give me 1 second. Alright, so we're melting the butter. We have also prepared the next ingredients, so 3/4 cup of flour. I have my milk ready. We'll be having to add 4 cups of milk. Yeah, 4 cups of milk. I have nutmeg out for 1/8 of a teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and I also have eggs ready for our 2 egg yolks, and the egg whites will go in the pasta. And I also have about 3 ounces of finely grated Parmesan cheese. This is melting nicely. Melting butter. Butter is almost melted. The meat took about 45 minutes, give or take. But basically until you get to it being almost no liquid left. Okay, we're gonna start adding the flour in. formed a paste similar to mashed potatoes, maybe a little bit thicker. I'm going to get the milk. I'm going to open up my milk and get 1 cup at a time. Alright, so we're going to slowly add the first cup. Ooh, I'm going to switch hands there. Add another set of hands. Oopsie. Get a second cup of milk. Get a plate here for this to sit on. Second cup of milk. Get a paper towel. Slowly turning into a paste. Alright, the sauce has started to thicken up so that it leaves, it's like a more solid layer. So we're going to take it off the heat. Now we're going to add in the nutmeg and the cheese and the salt. So the nutmeg is 1/8 of a teaspoon, so we're going to take that 4th. And have a half of that. Stir that in. It's nice and strong. And we're gonna have half a teaspoon of salt. And then we're gonna add the cheese. Seems like a lot of cheese. Then we're gonna, it's quite thick now. We're gonna leave it to cool for 5 minutes. For a few minutes. Before we added the eggs, so we're gonna put away all our ingredients before we get the eggs ready. So gonna crack the eggs. So I have a nice little egg separator to keep our yolk in. And keep the egg white in that bowl. Okay, do it again. I also took the opportunity while my meat sauce was cooking to do most of my dishes. Gonna let this cool for a few more minutes and we'll be back to put in the egg yolks and let it to cool. Alright, so I've left it to cool a bit longer, so now we're gonna add the egg yolks. And I also have a lid for it set aside because you need to cover it while it cools, unlike the meat. Egg yolks made it a lot creamier and also gave it a little bit of a color. Just gonna quick clean up a little mess I made. Then we're going to take a cover that I got out and cover it up and set it aside. If it gets too thick, we'll have to reheat it in order to pour it on top. But next, we're going to move to our pasta. Alright, next we're going to start the pasta. gonna get some water and
Do as we do with pasta.
then need some more water than that. I'm gonna have to bring it to a boil. So we have ziti. Here is going to be the noodles that we're adding. So, yes. I will be back when our water starts to boil to put the pasta in. Alright, now that we have our water at a boil, we can add in the pasta slowly. Bit fast. Oh well. We will now be cooking the pasta. Something I think most of us have done before is cook pasta. I'm going to remove a little water from this. I think it's just a bit much. That's better. Pasta takes a little bit to do. I will cut back to when the pasta is done because it's just going to be boiling with occasional stirring, and then I'll show you what to add before we assemble the final product to put in the oven. Alright, now the pasta is done and we're going to dump it in a colander to get all the moisture out. Set that there. Okay. Next, what we're going to do is get all this moisture out. Then dump it back in. And then we are going to add the egg whites. Salsa noodle. And then we're going to get about 4 ounces of feta cheese, crumbled as I have here. I'm going to mix that through as well. Okay. Next, what we're going to do is check and make sure that this is not too thick. Ooh, a little bit of moisture. Not too thick. Perfect. Okay. What we are going to do next is get out this. We're going to pour the pasta, and then we'll have to move it so that it's all arranged one way. It's going to be a little bit of a difficult task. One second. Let's see if I can have a bigger pan. Sorry, I had to get a bigger dish. I'm gonna have to get all the noodles out here. This isn't easy to make them all go one way. I don't think we'll be entirely successful. I think that more matters is if we get it down into a nice layer. Get some of them. gonna get the sauce. Really is very solid. Spread it out. Last of all, alright, our oven is preheating to 350 while we are assembling this. And next we're going to sprinkle over about 3 more ounces of Parmesan cheese over the top. Then we're going to wait for the oven to preheat to 350, and then we will put this in for 30 minutes or until this top is golden brown. So I'll show you when we're ready to put that in. Alright, last of all, we're going to put this in the oven. Get our oven mitts. It is very heavy. And put a timer on for 30 minutes. We'll do 25 because my oven tends to cook fast, and we'll check on it then. After the final product is done, we will take a look at it. And this is the final product.